Inventory is all about knowing what you have in stock and what it is worth. In this slide, we will try to set up our inventory and supply chain system for our coffee business, Aroma Origin, inside ERP. We will collect our daily operations like receiving green meals and fulfilling customer orders and many more directly into our physical storage. Along the way, we will also try to automate our stock pre-orders, track our production cost, and maintain accurate stock levels. Let's explain our stock model starting from warehouse. In ERP Next, we treat warehouse as anywhere our stock is stored or moved into. It can be a storage room in shed or a warehouse. Let's create a warehouse. Let the name of the warehouse be name storage. Now, warehouse has two simple levels. One it is a group warehouse, and other is a child warehouse. Group warehouse are our main location, like in this case, like our main storage or a godown. This is used to aggregate all our stock or see our total stock at glance. But we never assign items to our group warehouses directly. We can uncheck we can check this group mark to make a warehouse group or uncheck it to make a child. Now, a child warehouse are the specific spots where we do the actual work, like a particular raw bean storage or a shelf. This is where we receive, move, or ship our items. Now, as we know, our main storage is our parent our main location. We make it as a group warehouse and create it. To create a child warehouse, we can add under it. Suppose for let's going on with example, we add raw materials. This is how we have created a parent warehouse and a child warehouse. We can also add physical addresses, tag our warehouse type, or add accounts linked to our financial ledgers, or dedicated managers to this particular warehouses. Now that our physical storage space is completely set up into different stores and our warehouses, we can move into items, creation of items, and all details related to items, which is important for our purchase, ordering it, or managing it. This is our item master page. Here we go for creating our new item. Starting from the item code, every product needs a name for or identifier to easily recognize it. So we can in ERP Next we can manually enter the item's name. Like suppose we are putting the example of our coffee beans as raw materials. So I can manually type out, or we can have a naming series or a unique identifier which we can automate our item. We can do this in ERP Next. Let me show you how to do that. By going to the naming series. We are doing it for our items. So I have selected items already. I've already written a key configure. Here, this article is for our company. Item group will be discussed later, but it can be considered a grouping of categorizing of our different items. Here I am taking it for the raw materials. Month, this is for month, this is for years. Following this list or rules, we can set up our as per our requirement. Let me show you. This is for month, year. Easily identify. Now we have embedded as per our requirement uh, classifiers to it. This is generally useful when we are going from an old system to ERP-ness. We are migrating our legacy to legacy into the ERP-ness. If suppose a certain amount of inventory has to start counting from a certain sequence, we can also update our counter. Suppose I have previously have 20 in stock, so I started from 21 and updates this series number. Fixes for this as per our requirement. This is our prefix, and we set up our this. Now, now to showcase this option, the stock settings. This shows us the option whether we have to go for manually or use our automated series. As I have set up our automated series, I select naming cities here, save it. Now, now here is showing the automated series. To simplify it, we will be using generally, to simplify our examples, we will be using a stock item. The maintain stock toggles helps in keeping track of the item in maintenance. You have checked the box. It is basically maintaining stock is used for items of physical goods. Like here, for example, we are using coffee beans. It is a physical good, so we have kept the maintain stock toggle. Uh, Now it's used for packaging bags and this. This helps in now if we have unchecked it, it's basically for service items for like our training our barista or some maintenance work. This helps in easy definition between physical and service items. This can make also like billing and making invoice regarding the item or service easy. We assign a item group while creating an item. So basically, item group is cat like categorizing our different items. Like suppose I use raw materials for making my product. Coffee beans and oils and aluminum comes under that raw material. The final powdered coffee is my product. So basically, item groups help in categorizing this. Now, this is helpful in the sense that let me add this. Now, let's go to item group. So it the item group is helpful in that sense that any changes or any settings I add to this, it is automatically added to my item. Suppose I have added my like for raw materials, I use this warehouse. I have added this. This automatically adds up to my item. This is automatically added to my item. Though this helps in cutting our time. But but you should always check your default settings and your item group setting such that you don't confuse them. For example, if you need to set up for the particular scenario, you don't need your raw material in this particular warehouse and you need another warehouse. But if you have selected already the raw material item group for our example, it will automatically set the default warehouse. So you should cross check it, verify it, and check your warehouses or change your warehouses as per as your needs. Unit of measure is basically used to quantify our stocks. So if we are in this, we are dealing with our coffee beans. coffee, powder coffee. So basically, we will measure it in terms of kg. There are many default unit of measure in area of units. We select as per our requirement. Here we have selected. Now we can create unit of measurements as per our requirement. For this example of coffee beans, we don't generally buy coffee beans in kgs. We tend to buy it in bags or some other quantity. So I can create a unit of measurement as per our requirement. So this bag, suppose it is bag, and the bags and the it is bag. It must be in whole number. There cannot be like 2.3 of a bag or 3.4 of a bag. So it must be a whole number. I can say it. Going into my item, I can basically have a conversion rate of the bag such that if I input one bag or in order or selling it to somebody, it automatically converts based on the conversion order of 60. Like here, if I add bag, I've already created the bag at slow choose and I add conversion order of 60. So if I buy or sell one bag or two bag, it will automatically show 60 kg or 120 kg in my stock ledger. So this is your now. Now I've already set up my as per our requirement. We do not start our stock from zero. We go into ERP next with some existing legacy inventory or some physical stock. We migrated into ERP next with the help of stock variant solution. Now I will select my purpose, create the opening stock, which is used for basically transferring our pre-existing stocks items into a new system. I select my item, coffee beans, select my browse variable and my quantity. We always set the valuation rate for our item. If we keep it blank, we create an error with this. So after adding all the necessary details, the posting date and time are regarding when the entry is made. After adding all the necessary details, I click save and now we will submit it and see what changes are made in the system. Submit this. Let's see the changes. In the stock ledger, one update is made as per our stock opening. It shows the item name, item description, quantity. I've added the valuation rate. It has automatically calculated the total balance valuation. This is the changes it made on stock valuation. Now let's see in our general ledger or our balance sheet what changes it has made. In the balance sheet report, the stock in hand has been debited and temporary accounts has been credited. This maintains our balance sheet perfectly balanced. Now this is done with the help of perpetual inventory. When any changes are made in our stock or buying, selling or anything, our valuation of stock changes. And this is generally updated. So we link our warehouses to our accounts in our general chart. This is basically perpetual inventory. We enable perpetual inventory while making a company. I have enabled already here. It shows here. Enable perpetual inventory. So if perpetual inventory is enabled, any changes made in our stock, we have brought, sell, or it automatically shows in our general ledger. We have already set up our physical storage. and item details, and we have already moved our old inventory or physical legacy inventory into the ERP next system. Now let's move to the next section of the stock model, which is pricing. Using Arima Origin as an example, we have different amount of clientele, different amount of suppliers, such as we serve retail stores or like big cafe partners, or we import our beans, or we locally import our beans from the region India itself or from outside beans. Now we will see in ERP next how we manage this using price layers, pricing rules, and item price to set up prices of our items. Price list helps in that. In price list, we can add our basic details as per our requirement. Let's go to price list. I've already created some. So in price list, we basically add what is our currency. If we are only buying or selling, for suppose coffee beans, we are buying it mainly. If we are selling our final products like coffee powder and those, we are selling it mainly as per our requirement. Just as I explained before, if we are importing our goods from other countries, we can change our currency to USD, dollars, and change our country, US as per our requirement. I've already created some. So now let's move on to item price. Now for item price, in case of item price, we create our item price as per our requirement for a particular product. Item price is basically useful for a particular customer. If I am creating a sales order for a particular customer, it can automatically fetch from this item price without me adding any details. Let's see how to create it. I am creating for our product. It is animal pouch. This is the unit of measurement or the quantity when the customer has to buy. I've selected your pouch. This can be set as like the can be set as group or multiple as per our requirement. We have already created the standard selling as we are only selling our final product. Now here I select my customer. If I select my customer for this particular customer ad, it will show this items. Now here we set our date and date and select. We have created our item price. We also can provide discount or some promotional schemes or offers as per our requirements and ERP. It can be automated such that when making a sales order, it can be directly applied. We use pricing rule for that in ERP. We create our pricing rule here. We add to name for it. Suppose I'm providing discount on our product. Here we select our product. Our product is our pouch. We select some applicable. We select whether it is for a particular customer, for groups, or something like that. We will keep in blank for now. Here is the minimum quantity which is required for them to get discount. Right inside 10. In this period settings, we said when the validity date of discount, when it is available to until when I'm sending for indefinite, so I'm not setting valid up to date, but you can also set some. Yes. And this is the I am applying percentage discount. So if they're buying the amount, it will give them 10% discount. So there are here mixed conditions, cumulative. This mixed conditions are basically used for like multiple items. And we can also have like multiple discounts, stacking discounts on different things. Coupon code is when coupon code is given to the ARP system and applies the discount. So we save our discount. It's done. When we will try to make our sales order or somebody buys items, this discount will be automatically applied. This is all about item price and pricing. Now we will move to our next section. Let's see how buying some goods impact our inventory and financial result. In ERP Next, when we buy some goods or some goods arrive, and there are, with the help of perpetual inventory, the physical intake of the stock is linked to the result in our financial ledger and stock ledger. So here I will start with the purchase order. I've already created a damages order for our inventory. So I've created a purchase order for 10 bags, each of 60 kg for the bags, total amount of which is 2 lakhs. So when this bags comes to me, I will submit this as purchase receipt. Upon sales, two things will happen. When I will submit my purchase receipt, two things will happen in the happiness. Let's see what happens. We will see some changes in stock ledger. Let's see it. So in stock ledger, it is showing third movement of 600 on like our 60 bags, our 10 bags. This is the total balance after updated movement. We previously added some 600 bags, 600 kg of item. Now we are adding more, furthermore 600 kg of items. The total item, the value change, it is the amount of item we have added 2 lakh. We have priced it around 20,000 per bag. And this is our changes in stock ledger. Now let's see the changes moving the general ledger. This is our balance sheet. As there was no like utility of the goods, so we will not check the balance sheet. So 2 lakh items, 2 lakh of amount of items are added, and 2 lakh of items were credited from the stock received not billed. This time, this is the entry. 2 lakh items debited in stock in hand, and 2 lakh items debited from stock received but not billed. Stock received but not billed is a temporary account. When we create our purchase invoice, this amount will be settled down. Let's see what happens when we make our purchase invoice. Let's go to purchase order. You can get some supply for your purchase invoice. Save, save. Our purchase invoice has been submitted. Let's see the changes. Now, most likely there will be changes in the general ledger. So here's the changes we have made. So now the 2 lakh amount from the stock receipts not billed is debited and moved to the creditors, which is the account used for paying to our suppliers. So hence the total changes have been made. Now this completes our buying phase in our stock module, showing all the changes on general ledger and stock ledger. Let's see how sale of a product or customer impacts our supply chain operations in Japanese. So when we sell our coffee pouch or those coffee powder to a customer, when at a, in this case a cafe or store of our own, so a delivery note is delivered and sales invoices general as per perpetual inventory. When the item is physically moved, a change in transaction regarding it is updated in the financial records and activities. We will see it how it happens. I've already created a sales order for this dummy sales order for this. Now we will see what will happen if I create a delivery note for this? When my customer receives the order, it creates a delivery note. Let's see what happens if we create a delivery note. And that, so, I have selected wrong URLs. We have created a delivery note. Now we will see its impact. We will see an impact on our stock ledger and financial. We have sold four. I've selected here wrong URL, but we have selected four quantity of aroma pouches. So we see it in this. Now stock ledger now. What are the changes? And then let me update the stock ledger. So here it shows a movement of -4 movement of aroma pouches. Aroma pouches have been shown here. Now let us see in our stocks. Four pouches of aroma pouches is shown output and quantity have been sold. Now let's see its impact on our financial reports. So here it shows, let's see in profit and loss. 300 expenses is shown. This is our cost of goods sold. As we have sold those four pouches for 75 rupees each, here it is shown. Now, when we create our sales invoice, we will see no changes. Let's create the sales invoice. Sales invoice is generally created when the person receives its product. We can create our sales invoice from the delivery note. From the delivery note. This is our delivery note. Create our sales invoice. Select. Select. Now, we have sold for 2,000 rupees. This is we have seen we were minus 300. Now let us see what is our financial reports. In PL we will better see. Here it is already shown. We have gained 1,700 rupees, 300. Now let's see further here. Direct income sales 2,000, consume 300. So this completes our total selling fees when we have sold our product and all. Let us also check the changes in stock levels and balances. There is no net changes as it is in the has the already the stock has moved from the delivery note. So we only see changes in this instead in the PL statement. Not every movement of our stock is related to only purchase or selling of goods. Some of the movements are related to our internal of the company. In case of aroma origins, we see there are some movement of raw material from one storage to another, some for processing or checking for expiring goods or doesn't have expiring goods. In the ARP stock entry helps in serving as the tool for movement of transfer of this goods and items, and it also helps in tracks it with the impact on its accounting levels and visibility. I have done previously some stock entries, let's explain it one by one. In case of material transfer, generally it is movement regarding from one warehouse to another warehouse internally in the company without any impact on the financial ledger. Let's create a stock material transfer. Material transfer. We select the warehouses where it will go to where it will to where it will receive it. Select the item manually on the quantity. After that, we submit this. On submission upon this, we can see, as I created, I will show you its impact on the financial level. In the financial ledger, we see like there is movement of 1 kg of coffee bean from this warehouse to another warehouse. Changes in its value. What are its total value and such that. In case of like repack is basically shows when we consume one of our raw material to create another of a final good or a sub-product. So in this case, we have created like consume 600 kg of coffee bean to create 2004, some 2000 plus 2000 plus pack for a touch. It automatically changes the values and shows someone the value coming. Now, upon when this is submitted, we will also here like let me show you the example. We tag the warehouses are selected. Here we select one. Mm, So saving this, we will show the changes in amount and everything. Let me show its impact on the stock level. We will submit it. Now I'm going to our stock ledger. Let's update this one. Here, 1 kg of coffee was consumed. 4 pack so for the coffee was created. The value of it, consumed and creation of it is shown. Now, let's talk about the other two stock entries. Material issue is generally used. Here is the only source warehouse where it is consumed. This is generally used when we are disposing our coffee beans or expired coffee pouches. So there, when we do this, there is impact of it on our financial ledger because there is decrease in our asset. Similarly, in material receipt, there is only mention of where it will go. This is used for adjustment or transferring of our certain stocks to our finance stores and such. It will also show some impact on our financial ledger because of some delivery charges and something. This is all about stock movement and entry. In any business, it is very important to track our goods. In the case of our company, whether we have to track our 10 kg or 500 kg of beans or our special machines. It is very helpful to know about track its, know about its status and shelf life in many things. And ERP next, this is done with the help of serial number and batch numbers. Now, moving on to our how to assign this serial numbers and batch numbers. First, we have to enable this setting in stock settings, activate serial number and batch number for items. I've already enabled it. Now moving on to items. I've in items and in the first page or in the inventory section, there is an option for serial number and batch number. Batch number are utilized or generally used to represent identical groups. In case of food products, medicines, they are not used for unique items. They are a group of uh, items which are closely linked to another and which have generally have an expiry date. When we in then when in ERP next we click on hash batch number, it shows option on naming the batch number. It has further ERP next provides to set up its expiry date for regarding a particular batch. Use the naming convention similar to our item naming template. So I will set up here. So I've set up here batch number and the naming series. Now, in case of serial number is generally used for like very high value units like electronics or heavy machineries, very unique in nature. In case our company will use it for special machines or our big ovens for roasting our products. We use a similar naming convention as here. We add our serial numbers. This enables us to help in tracking our items. Now let's see how this batch of this item looks. I've already created a purchase order for this item. And let me show the purchase order. I've created a purchase order for this item. Green links. It is settled down in batch numbers. Batch number is on, but only also showing batch number. Let me show how it looks when you recognize. This is the batch we have now. It shows the batch number. As we have not a single batch of it, shows a single number. It is what? What is the type of transaction? It is an inward transaction because we have this is going to our warehouses. Outward transaction is generally when we are selling it or it's going out from our company. So here it shows this. And furthermore, we have feature of tracing it. Shows its movement. Suppose in a batch, some item is wasted, some item is utilized. So it helps in tracing the item. This helps. Similarly, serial number also showcases this, but in as it is used for high-end items, I have not shown the example. I have done this with the batch. Now, the immediate issue when we run out of our raw materials or order some excess raw materials, which ties up our cash. We can only utilize the cash for our better purposes. So in this ERPness, we can reorder our automatically set up a reorder system, which can automate our reordering process depending upon our requirements. It works upon the basis of projected quantity. This projected quantity adds all our on-hand inventory, all our purchase orders that are when will get delivered, and material requests internally, and subtracts the stock which we are will send to the customers, reserved for sending to the customers. When this quantity, predicted quantity, drops below its threshold, the system automatically reorders our necessary raw materials or our as per our requirements, our items. So we do this very easily. We go to the item, go to our particular item, and in the auto reorder settings, we add we add for what our requirements are. Here we add our raw material. Suppose here is coffee bean, I'm setting here raw material will be. I check for its main name, main storage, and this is the level. This is the threshold. If it goes below this threshold, it will automatically reorder this much quantity. I've added some random numbers. Material request is type like or knowledge we should we buy on this is general in this raw material scenario, we generally purchase it. So I have set of purchase on my material request and see. So when our inventory goes beyond the threshold, it will ARTMS will automatically create a purchase order, which we will approve by the managers or it will be approved by the appropriate person and will be sent be accepted and the item will be delivered as per my requirements. This summarizes our stock layer. At last, we can check about our stocks transaction which have occurred by using reports. We have many reports. We will start from stock ledger. Stock ledger is basically helpful because it shows chronologically all the order are taken according to their time. It shows the current quantity, movement from what has entered the store, what has exited the store, total values and changes in value are also shown. This is very important in tracking chronologically. This valuation is basically done on FIFO, as I've selected FIFO for my stock valuation. I've selected this valuation method on stock settings. Stock settings are when creating an item. We can also select our valuation. There basically there are three types, but mainly I will discuss about FIFO and moving average. FIFO is first in, first out. So in, first out, the system sees that the oldest inventory layers are consumed or sold first. So, for example, like suppose we got 1 kg of coffee bean for rupees 50 and 1 kg of coffee bean for rupees 60 on Tuesday. And if we are selling our roasted coffee powder from the coffee bean for 100 rupees, the cost of that will be considered 50 rather than 60, as it was the oldest. And the income and all regarding calculation, financial calculation will be done on based on that valuation. So FIFO is generally shows in return to inflated price, but governments all around the world generally recommend first in all method for valuation. Moving average takes the valuation or takes the price of all the items you have or all the items in your stock you have averages it all the time. So this is a first in, first out and moving average. Now we go into other reports. There is stock balance. Stock balance shows us like life shows us everything like it shows us quantity we select as per our requirement or in the filters. It's the valuation and everything. So if I select products, it in the new report, it will show me my final products, all I have sold, all I have inventory in the coming month. I can select coffee beans and send them the new report. It shows me all the coffee bean I've consumed or used I've currently. This tells a very at the moment how much work we have in our stock. In stock logic, it shows chronologically all related purchase order purchases. And there are many more reports like batch wise, projected quantity is helpful in managing our inventory when our inventory goes below threshold. So all of this helps in management of our stock, helps us at evaluation and many things. So by combining warehouse, item details, item master, serial, batch number, potential inventory accounting, and stock reports like stock ledger, balance, stock projected quantity, completes our total management of our items, including our raw material like green means and final product. This helps our This helps us run our inventory smooth, inventory and supply chain smooth.